Hi, welcome to A Gray Barn Rising, the video blog of the Wabash Watershed. I'm sitting here this evening with my favorite companion, Bootsy Beagle, and I'm drinking a cup of oolong tea, reading the poems of one of my all-time favorite poets, Miguel Hernández. Miguel Hernández was a Spanish poet born in 1910, and he died in a Franco prison in 1942. He was a member of the Republican Front, a loyalist during the Spanish Civil War, and he was captured near the end of the Civil War and spent approximately 3 years in a cell, in a Franco cell. He ended up dying from complications from tuberculosis. Miguel Hernández was part of that great flowering of Spain known as the Generation of 27. Which included poets like Federico Garcia Lorca, Rafael Alberti, Vicente Alexandre, and a host of other incredible poets from that period. I would say of those particular poets in that generation, Miguel Hernández has the distinction of probably developing his heart qualities to the greatest degree. To borrow Lorca's term, the duende, of Miguel Hernández's duende really manifests in terms of his exploration of the heart. And the poems I've chosen to share with you this evening are going to typify that, I hope. There are many wonderful translations of Miguel Hernández. My favorite book of his is The Selected Poems of Miguel Hernández and Blas de Otero. This book is edited by Timothy Beland and Hardy St. Martin. The Miguel Hernández portion is edited by Timothy Beland, and the Blas de Otero part is edited by Hardy St. Martin. The book is divided in halves, Miguel Hernández being the first half of the book. There are several different translators for some of the poems. Beland translates many, if not most, of the poems of Miguel Hernández, but he also has some other translators as well, including Robert Bly. And Robert Bly has translated the very first poem of Miguel Hernández's that I'd like to share with you this evening, which is entitled, I Have Plenty of Heart. I have plenty of heart. Today I am, I don't know how. Today all I am ready for is suffering. Today I have no friends. Today the only things I have is the desire to rip out my heart by the roots and stick it underneath a shoe. Today that dry thorn is growing strong again. Today is the day of crying in my kingdom. Depression unloads today in my chest, a depressed, heavy metal. Today my destiny is too much for me, and I'm looking for death down by my hands, looking at knives with affection, and I remember that friendly axe, and all I think about is the tallest steeples and making a fatal leap serenely. If it weren't for I don't know what, my heart would write a suicide note, a note I carry hidden there. I would make an inkwell out of my heart, a fountain of syllables and goodbyes and gifts, and you stay here, I'd say to the world. I was born under a rotten star. My grief is that I only have one grief, and it weighs more than all the joys together. A love affair has left me with my arms hanging down, and I can't lift them anymore. Don't you see how disillusioned my mouth is, how unsatisfied my eyes are? The more I look inward, the more I mourn. Cut off this pain, who has the scissors? Yesterday, tomorrow, today, suffering for everything. My heart is a sad goldfish bowl, a pen of dying nightingales. I have plenty of heart. Today, to rip out my heart, I, who have a bigger heart than anyone, and having that, I am the bitterest also. I don't know why. I don't know how or why. I let my life keep on going every day. Before he entered the war as a part of the Republican Army, Miguel Hernandez was a goat herd, a fairly uneducated man in the beginning, and he met many poets, including Pablo Neruda. One of the things Pablo Neruda said about Miguel Hernandez was, Miguel with that face of his like a potato, just lifted from the earth. It's a wonderful quote because Miguel Hernandez's heart and his deep emotion is really always rooted in the things of the earth. He continuously goes back to what he knows most about, which is the earth. This is a poem that is translated by Timothy Beland, and it's entitled The Last Corner. The first and the last, a corner good enough for the greatest sun, a grave for this life, with no room for your eyes. I would like to stretch out there and be rid of love entirely. I want it down by the olive tree. I catch sight of it in streets. It sinks back in corners where the trees are also sunk. It roots deeper. It deepens a wild strength that's in my blood. Body acting out each thing I do. Bones that something fatal beats in. I am dying so I can breathe down on everything you do. Heart caught between two stones, both mad to crush it. You are drowning out of love like a sea between two seas. I am drowning from too much love, and I can't manage to drown. What right do they have to turn my life into such a prison? In your hair, the long blackness has lasted through ages of the hardest and most passionate blackness. I move through your black hair, old as eons, till I can pull myself up to the primitive blackness of your eyes and your father's, to the corner of dense hair where you flashed light. Yes, the corner of your womb, the alleyway of your body, the blind alley where I died one afternoon. Gunpowder and love march against the cities, blazing, stirring up the population of the blood. The orange tree tastes of life. The olive tree tastes of time. Caught between their call, my heart can't decide. The first and the last, a shipwrecked corner, stagnant pool of saliva over its riverbed of love. Afternoon sleep that has made the sun of damp places dark. There, I would like to stretch out and be rid of loving. After love, we have the earth. After the earth, nobody. Another very intense poem by Miguel Hernández, and I think you can hear the deep emotion that comes through his work. I want to read a poem for you now from his final poems when he was in prison, the last poems that he wrote. And this poem is entitled, I Go On in the Dark, Lit from Within. And it's another Timothy Beland translation. I go on in the dark, lit from within. Does day exist? Is this my grave or the womb of my mother? Something beats against my skin like a cold stone that starts to grow warm, scarlet, tender. Maybe I'm still waiting to be born, or maybe I've been dead all the time. Darkness rules me. If life is this, I wonder what death would be, or what I'm getting out of an anxiety, this eternal. Held in chains by these clothes, it looks as if I want to go naked, to get rid of what can't ever be me. It makes eyes look troubled and far away. But the black cloth of mourning, far off, walks with me, shadow for shadow, toward the darkness, until it rolls down to the naked life blossoming out of pure nothing. I think about these final poems that he wrote in prison. Many of them are full, obviously, of the pain of separation, pain and loneliness of being in prison. I don't have time in this installment to read to you his wonderful poem entitled Lullaby At The Onion, which he wrote for his son. That poem, although it has a lot of grief in it as well, also contains this incredible passion and joy for something as beautiful not only as his newborn son, but an onion, which his son had been eating. But I do want to close this evening's installment for you with a poem, again a late poem, a poem in prison, that is in a similar vein as the tone that the other poems are. And it's called To Smile with the Joyful Sadness of the Olive Tree. To smile with the joyful sadness of the olive tree, to wait and never stop waiting for joy. Let us smile, let us make the light every day gold in this sad and joyful hopelessness of being alive. Every day I feel myself more able to fly and more caught up in this smile, so clear, so full of darkness. The storms that make their way past your cold mouth also move past mine. It is a brief summer wind. A smile rises over the final emptiness. It swells like an emptiness that quivers, still fluttering its wings. A smile breaks warmly into flight. Ordinary, steady, it does not fall, it does not darken. You defy everything, love. You climb over it all. With your smile, you parted from both heaven and earth. I particularly love that poem because it shows the complexity and the great paradox of loneliness and love. And also, there's a triumph in this poem. There's a resurrection of sorts as he nears death. So those are just a few of the poems of Miguel Hernández. I hope that this brief reading has encouraged you, excited you, gotten you enthused about reading more of the poems of Miguel Hernández. I think that you'll enjoy them. Yes, they're full of pain, but they're also full of deep joy and deep connection to the